104.1 KRBE. Let's get started. It's the Roula and Ryan Show.
Wake up, fool!
Hey, wake up!
It's about to get all stupid up in here!
Right here.
Featuring Eric.
Eric, he is a bad, bad man.
Special K.
The big red K. Are you threatening me?
I'm waiting for you.
And Sam.
I am a wuss! I am a wuss!
You've waited long enough. How the heck do you pronounce this woman's name?
Roula. And Ding Dong. Ryan. 104.1 KRBE. Good morning.
Good morning, Houston, Texas. It's Thursday, September 21st of 2023, and it's 6 o'clock on the dot. Roula, Ryan, Eric, Special K, and Sam reporting for duty, ladies and gentlemen.
Reporting for duty.
Reporting
I
for
am
duty.
here. I am dressed. I am echoing.
I'm glad you're dressed. Thank you for
I'm ready
putting
for
clothes
duty.
on today.
You're welcome.
Somebody said there's a.
There's
You guys see anything about a fire near NRG
Where?
Fire near
and West Chase
Y'all can see it if y'all
area?
go down to the coffee
that
kitchen.
is that's two different things.
I'm like, what the hell is that even
NRG and West Chase are not close, and we can see
No,
NRG.
but you can see it from, if you go to the coffee kitchen, you can see
Let me
NRG
see.
perfectly, especially when the sun is rising. So
I'll
if there's a
see
fire
nothing.
going on there,
They're
you
saying
can
not.
be able
I
to see
don't
lights or
know.
something.
They're saying that area. They're not saying NRG's on
okay.
fire. They're just saying. Have you
They said
seen this?
near.
Yeah, near.
Near.
So if you guys are our eyes and ears out there. We're stuck in this little box.
Okay. Sometimes if you go to Twitter to like HFD or something like that, they'll have some of their fires.
Maybe
and
Firefighter Ross is
incidents.
listening.
Oh, you know what? He is. He's probably got the chatter coming down on CB.
Yeah.
That's
That's about the only thing that Twitter. Are you guys going to pay for it when he makes it a pay service?
Absolutely not.
No, me neither. I'm done. I'm not paying.
Is there a third option? You know, you got Threads.
Yeah.
But wasn't there another one?
Problem is,
Oh, I don't know.
I'm not paying for that stuff.
No
It's bad
way.
enough.
There's advertising, all
Yeah.
kinds of advertising, way more than before.
I mean, I'd pay
Oh, yeah.
$2 a month if you take away all that advertising.
Really?
I do that with
I
my
wouldn't-
streaming
I
platform.
wouldn't
$2
pay a penny.
for $24. I'm so sick of seeing
$2 a month?
like in the comments. There's always a promotion for something. There's always something.
It just seems like everybody's out to gouge you. I mean, I had Peacock for all those years, and then I paid for Peacock Premium so I could lose all the commercials. And now all of a sudden I got the commercials, and then now you got to get Peacock Premium plus to get rid
Tribble.
of the commercials.
Wow.
Tribble is another one.
Which one?
Tribble.
What the hell's
I know
that?
that one.
Yeah, no.
Tribble. That's a furry critter on Star Trek.
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, it's that little monster thing.
Yeah, they make those little noises.
You know, there was regarding text at 37530, there was a reel about how this lady sent this funny thing. Like, it's like the way I text to you guys, like nothing makes sense, but
Yes.
you should figure it out. I'm trying to figure out the word this person meant to text us because it says, OMG, have y'all seen anything on that fire? I drove to work near NRG and I saw it seen West Chase area. What's
It
the
is
word?
in West Chase. It's
saw
Hayes
it
near
seen.
Richmond.
Oh, there it is.
So it would be. It would be.
It looks like it's an apartment complex. We're
Yeah,
watching
definitely.
ABC 13 right now.
God.
It looks like it's out though.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Basically, she was saying the whole part about NRG had nothing to do with a fire.
No, I
So
drove
there's
to
a
work
way.
near NRG, and I saw
like
it
telling you a
seen.
story
I
and
don't know
just
what that
saying-
word's supposed to be.
What happened?
So I
was-
work at KRBE, but did you guys see anything over in Kingwood when I was there? There was a robbery. It's like
So just name dropping.
Well, we can see more from our building than most people can.
Because we're pretty high up.
That's true. Just from this side, we can't see that.
No.
Yeah.
No, we
You
don't
can
have
walk around the
access
whole
to the
thing.
other
We can see the
side.
medical center, kind of.
I know. Would you rather see the medical center or those amazing houses over there and be just envious the entire
yeah,
show?
I'd be mad.
I still want to know, guys,
bitter.
what the story is with the Lazy River house and the ranch with all the horses.
across the
is that
street
like
on-
a compound or is that a private residence?
They
we
finally
figure that out?
filled the lazy river, but it's got to be a private place
As long as
People
it's
don't know what we're
connected center
talking
for that
about.
neighborhood.
We're on the corner of Gessner and Westheimer. On the north side of Westheimer, you have a lot of private houses. You've got these gigantic mega mansions. They've got a high
Super
brick wall.
giant
And we're on the
acreage.
7th floor, so we can
Yeah.
look over and see into their backyards. And there's some super rich guy or girl who's got like this massive lazy river, a guest house that
A
is like
lazy river, and it is significant.
It's
Oh,
huge.
yeah. It's huge.
Like it looks like a
Giant.
skate park.
a guest
Like-
house that is like probably 5 times the size of my real house. I mean, big,
and like
big.
and maybe stables, I'm not sure, but this is all like inside of the Beltway.
Yeah.
And I never knew it was there until I started working here, and then I saw them making that lazy river. I was like, are they putting in a theme park next door? No,
nope.
it's someone's house.
Yeah.
Yes, we did figure out that's not like some kind of community center or something. That is a private residence with all that stuff.
Remember we sent Kevin to the River Oaks area to ask people what they do for a living? How'd you afford these houses? He'd go up to the house and ask people.
Yeah, their butlers were like,
Do they have butlers?
oh, absolutely.
yeah.
They've got all kinds of service folk.
I think so.
I guess you would need help if you have a
survived that
house.
and didn't get shot at the front door.
If you've got a home that's got something like 15 bedrooms and like 20 bathrooms, you're going to have help. You can't. Otherwise, you'd be cleaning 24 hours a day.
Old school houses, Ryan. Some of those old school River Oaks original houses, they don't have that many bedrooms. There was one house that went up for sale. Remember how we were talking about HAR.com a couple weeks ago, and how I always like to see what's the most expensive property on HAR.com. There's one for God, was it $37 million or something?
Oh
it
my
only had
God.
5 bedrooms.
And then
I
you
was
look
like,
on the
okay.
inside,
Only
Roula.
5 bedrooms.
Must have been a big.
5 is good, but for a $37 million house,
But you
Eric,
have to
I
realize-
expect 11 bedrooms.
That's what I'm saying. You
You're
should
paying
have.
for the property. You have to realize that these homes were built like 90 years ago. And you look on the inside of the houses, the ones that are up for sale, you go to HAR.com. And Roula, I know you've done this. You look on the inside and you're like, what's with all the wood, the dark wood, mahogany, the paneling? Everything is wood.
I mean, it's one thing if it was I guess the studies are always supposed to be like wood paneled, but
Very
man,
dark and
some of these
depressing.
houses, like Jim Crane, owner of the Astros, made news that he was buying one of the old school
He's gonna
River
mow
Oaks
it down.
properties, and he's gonna take it down to the ground.
I found
and
out he bought
build
that was
what
my
it should
friend's
be.
place. He bought.
You know somebody that owned that place?
Yeah, it was Seraphims.
Oh, Seraphims. Yes, that's the last name, Seraphim. He has 2 houses. If you ever
Yeah,
do the
he's
River
got-
Oaks,
he's got 2 houses.
If you do have Mr. McKinney's, open bus tour, he shows you at Christmas time. This is the Seraphim's house, but this is the one where they throw the parties. The one where they actually live is up 2 blocks over there because they have one property just for the entertaining and one property for the actual living.
And those are houses, like you said, Ryan, where they take all of our properties and put it in there and then double it. And that would still be that size
He's
of that
never
house.
understood. I mean, I
What a
get
property
it.
tax on that,
Anybody
man,
can
that's
spend.
crazy.
Hey, you earn the money, you make the money, you can spend it any way you have. Any way
Yeah.
you want. That's America. I just never understood. Like, if you're just like a husband and wife, why would you want something that's like 20,000 square feet? Are you really walking around every room in the house and like, today I think I'll go down this wing? And
But where are you going to
sit
move?
here?
If you grew up there or that you live there with your family, why would you just going to all of a sudden
It was
move?
like generational money.
Also,
Okay,
the
like in the
strain
show-
on our electrical system, for instance, like what you have 20 rooms and you live in 2 of them, and then you're the reason why we're having these brownouts and blackouts.
Because the rest of the house
You go to
has AC.
Costco and buy the big thing of toilet paper just to fill every toilet.
Right, every bathroom. And Kevin, you would, you know this because you and I watch. I don't know if Sam watched it as much as you and I both watched Bridgerton series the most, right? Sam, you watched Bridgerton?
yeah.
Oh
Or no?
yes,
You
those
did, yeah.
houses.
So all of the thing is about the ball. We're going to throw a ball, and all of their massive homes. They're massive homes. So to the point of how that was the Gilded Age, right? There is there's a New York hotel called the Lotte, Lotte. Eric, last time I was in New York, your wife was in New York at the same time. We were staying in the same hotel. We never ran into each other. But the Lotte Hotel, if you guys look up the Lotte Hotel, that was a house, like a Bridgerton family house.
Wow.
Damn.
That was turned into a hotel and built stack the floors now to
Is
have
that the one across from
40
that famous
floors.
church?
Yeah, across from St. Patrick's Cathedral. Gorgeous views.
stayed there once. That
And
was a house?
was a house. That was just like a Bridgerton 1800s house where they had the ball and all the things. That's why that hotel is, if you ever go to New York and, you can see a lot of sights, just going in there is something to do because it's so gorgeous. And that used to be one family's house. It's crazy.
So I just looked
And
up, Roula, what you're talking about. I didn't even know what the Gilded Age meant. I mean, because I remember studying it in school a gazillion years ago.
Yeah,
So
gilded,
in the United States,
everything is over the top decorated.
the Gilded Age is a term coined by Mark Twain. So it describes a period between 1877 and 1900 where there was a large, rapid economic growth. And that's, I don't know why they
So
call it
then
the
actually
Gilded
Gilded Age is later than Bridgerton because Bridgerton is like 1815.
Okay.
But kind of same concept of having those massive estates, huge homes.
Rula,
and
do you
having
know
all those balls.
who Lester and Sue Smith are? they're huge donors of HMNS and the Holocaust Museum, and they have they sponsor all the big exhibits, and they're in.
Yes, I've seen their name then. In
Yes,
a lot
you
of
have.
that stuff. Yes.
Well, I got hired for this gig over in Memorial or River Oaks, and I went into this home, and I was just gobsmacked because it had several floors, and it was one of those Gilded Age homes. I was like, wait, who am I working for again? And they said that name. I was like, okay. And I asked the butler guy what they did, and he was like,
The butler guy.
he was like, philanthropy.
Philanthropy.
I didn't even know what that was at the time.
That's just like giving to charity.
You know, you're rich when that's your job. It's just to give your money to people.
Yes.
And then so, on down the road, then I see their names attached to this diamond exhibit. I was like, oh, that's who I was working for. Okay.
Yeah,
And
I
you know
should
what?
charge
And
more.
Thank God for them, right? Because that's how we have all those halls.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
how we have all the stuff that makes the world go around. Because when I was in high school, there was a girl that I met, and I remember, everybody used to talk about what you do, especially because my family was a restaurant family. What does your mom do? And that's the first time I heard that as a job. My mom is a philanthropist. I go, oh. What do you mean? I was in 7th grade.
Right.
I go, what do you mean?
We're so wealthy,
And then
we'll
she
never have to
goes,
work, so we're going to give our money to charity.
That's life goals right there.
It was
Working on
generational money, and she worked her
generational.
butt off on a lot of boards of a lot of different organizations, hospitals, museums.
This sounds like a lot
she
of
worked her
work.
butt off.
Well, you got
on
to
all
do
that
something.
stuff.
I mean, nobody just wants to sit around and do nothing.
I do. I'm like, I'll write the checks. Just leave
Somebody's
me
got to
alone.
organize the
I
stuff.
think you
and
get
the
bored after a
fundraisers.
while, but you
I
mentioned
won't get bored on that beach.
Let me try that lifestyle.
You mentioned those old houses.
know.
Do you guys even do that? Like even
Sorry if
with
I get
my
bored.
house, like I bought a
gotta go.
1970s house. All right.
I've been waving everybody off for 2 minutes. No one's watching me.
Ryan,
It's
you're
6
part of the
I
problem.
know I talk 7 seconds.
Save your thoughts.
Oh, bring it back next. I'm just.
Talk about it in
Oh my
scoop.
God!
I'm kidding.
Let's talk
You gripe
about
about the time every time I get yelled at by you guys, and then I try and put my whatever. All right, we gotta
Let's go.
Okay, Scoop's next. Here's the weather. Let's go.
Jeez.
It is going to be hot. 96 degrees today. That is your high. Right now, it's already 80 degrees and 612 on the Roula and Ryan Show.
I am proud to introduce
Roula and Ryan's Celebrity Scoop.
KRVE.
It is brought to you by Innovative Lasers of Houston. I want to give our 6 o'clockers a heads up when it comes to Olivia Rodrigo and the Guts World Tour. She's going to be here on Tuesday, February the 27th. We've got your tickets every single day. Go with your gut. What's the next line? It's like finish the lyric. We pick an Olivia Rodrigo song, and then we just play a clip of it. And from the second it stops, you got to pick it up and finish the lyric.
If you're a
and then you
fan-
win tickets to see her.
It's not hard to do. If you're a fan, you're going to get this. You're going to win. It's that easy.
I got to the waiting thing for Ticketmaster.
Did you? For your daughter, right? Not
Yeah,
for you.
my wife did it, and my daughter did it, and I did it, and I was the only one that got the email.
Whoa.
She was putting it on my email. She said, Dad, you got it. And then she's getting mad. She's like, why'd he have to get it? He doesn't understand how this works. 'Cause my wife does Ticketmaster. She knows how to get tickets and stuff. I'm like,
Oh, that's
'cause I'm
funny.
like, I don't even know what my password is. Here,
Oh,
here you
no,
go.
Eric. You're already
man.
behind the
Yeah.
line.
I said
You're
to
like,
them,
I'm just
So wait,
here.
does that mean you got it? You got tickets, or you
No,
got like in
I
line
got
to
the
get
code.
tickets? And
So you know how
got the
that
code.
works. You go at 3 p.m. and there's probably a billion people that got the code.
Why is it that the digital ticket, I know I've been using it for years, but for some reason I still don't feel as secure as having a hard copy ticket in my hand. Like I've spent a fortune on these
Yeah, you're always afraid it's-
pair of concert tickets, and I'm like, oh my God, what happened? If I died, like I want these tickets to be willed to somebody.
When
Like,
people, because someone's going to win tickets on our show today.
yeah.
Those are, do they get real tickets or is it digital?
Or is it a digital ticket?
I'm pretty sure it's digital.
Or digital?
Yeah.
What time
Yeah,
did we
'cause
get
now
that
that's just the
today,
way it
Rula?
goes.
That's just the way it goes. It's easier.
Say it again.
What time? Did you say the time for everybody?
No, I hadn't said it yet. So what we do at 7 o'clock in that hour is Roula and Ryan's Roses. At 9 o'clock, we let you hear what happened at 7. So in the second half of Roses, in the 9 o'clock hour. So it'll probably hit like between 9:25 to 9:30. We are going to give you the chance to win those Olivia Rodrigo tickets. So after the second part of Roses in the 9 o'clock hour is when you're going to score Olivia Rodrigo tickets. And if you are awake right now and you're like, man, I really want to go, but I have to be at work or I'm going to be in school, get somebody that loves you to play for you and then take you to the concert. That's all I got to
Or
say
maybe,
about that.
because we won't be the only ones. They'll be
Yeah.
all throughout the
After
day.
we give
All
you
day
those
long.
tickets,
I
then
don't
we
wanna tell
can
you
tell you
that
the
yet.
next time.
Yep. So
Right, it's more than just once a day. So yesterday I was talking about the supermodels on Apple TV Plus. It's this whole thing about the major names that became the word supermodel, like Cindy Crawford and Chrissy Turlington and all that. And I watched that clip, and Eric, that you referenced yesterday, where it was like a cringe moment with Oprah telling Cindy Crawford to stand up, let me see your body. In 1986, Cindy Crawford was on the Oprah show, which was based in Chicago, which was the first year of the Oprah show. It is like having the Roula and Ryan show have a Houston girl come in there and say, oh my God, look at you from DeKalb, Illinois. Now you're a world supermodel. The word supermodel had not come up yet.
What's the agency
she was
we
the
have here?
model at the time.
What's the model place here?
Paige Parks.
Oh, Paige Parks.
It'll be like that because she did a lot of her stuff in Chicago with Elite modeling. So
there's a lot of different modeling companies in Houston. That's just the
How'd
one.
you know that?
Huh? Oh, because they've been around since I was a kid. When I was a
Brian
kid,
was a model back in the day.
I was not a model, but I went out with a girl that was a model
I've never
there.
heard of them, but that was you were so quick.
Well, you
with
used
that.
to be
That's
able to
funny.
drive on 610 by the Galleria, and they had a banner on the top of one of the buildings.
And
I don't think
also,
it's there
Sam,
anymore.
on Kirby, if you're heading like from Westheimer towards 610 on Kirby,
yes,
Paige Parks had a giant building next to the Hard Rock Cafe when it was cool, and the top of the building said Paige Parks.
Okay, so if you're like local Houston and you know
You
this,
know it, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Got it.
And also Mayo Hill was another one because I would drive by that one all the time. It's on San Felipe, close to Voss.
What funny
Mayo
names.
Hill. Mayo Hill.
Mayo.
I don't know what the...
Which is funny because models don't eat mayo.
Nope.
True. And
Unless
my
they're
point
organic, maybe low
They should
fat.
just call it Lettuce Hill.
So
Lettuce
in
and
that
cigarettes.
segment, I have yet to finish. I want to watch the rest of that today on Apple TV Plus. But the cringe of that moment that you referenced yesterday, Eric, is when Oprah tells Cindy Crawford, "Well, stand up. Let's see what you look like." It's because this was such a foreign concept to a lot of people, and in the '80s, for some reason, as we just showed by example, people knew the names of some of these local things because that was. I don't feel like we hear it as much, guys, but I know for sure, Kevin, you and I have done gigs in our careers where we had to go to a place where they're calling for the modeling. Like, cattle call. If you want to be on your favorite show or if you want to be a print model, come to this hotel in this conference room. We're going to have they're going to have agents there and you show up, blah, blah, blah. So Cindy Crawford, it was so cringe. The whole thing was cringe because there's this dude next to Cindy Crawford and he's like, yes, well, the thing about Cindy is, we're trying to get her to do more New York and Milan and Paris. Right now, she's just doing a lot of Chicago and some New York, but, and then she talks about like, well, I mean, I'm 120 pounds and I'm 5'9". I'm not 100 pounds. And, Oprah's like, well, that's very good for you. Like, just kind of like being sarcastic. And it's funny because even in 1986, she just was a really thin person and we did not know what the word supermodel was yet. And I think the whole thing was cringe because the guy's talking about Cindy Crawford like she's not there. Like she doesn't have a mouth because she's like
the lawyer, like when a lawyer, your rep comes in and speaks for you.
Just shut your mouth, you sit there and look pretty.
You're just like, it's weird to talk. Like if example is like, let's have to talk about Eric, right? And Eric is right next to me in an interview and somebody's asking a question about, well, how did Eric start? And instead of Eric answering, I'm like, well, blah, 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 blah. And it's like so cringe because why isn't he just answering the question? He's the guy.
That's weird.
Like she was the girl from DeKalb, Illinois, the local girl. This guy, anyway, if you watch it, it's just interesting. I want to see how it turns out the rest of it. It's out. Yeah, it came out yesterday on Apple TV Plus. And I'd seen like the behind the scenes interviews with all those models now, which it's just such a crazy thing. Okay, anyway, let's move on. Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. Not related, but there is a story. It's like a jokey story about, since they're both Texas.
I think they also they got this laid back pot smoker type image.
Yeah.
And actually, Ryan, to that note, Camila Alves, Matthew McConaughey's wife, a month ago said, I don't understand why everyone thinks that he sits around being a big old pot smoker. He does not smoke marijuana. And then the person was like, well, I mean, there was this whole bongos thing that happened in the 2000s. Like,
oh yeah, wasn't he
did you
like?
not know him then?
Wasn't he like busted for being naked playing the bongos?
He probably doesn't do as much now with the kids and stuff, but when he was
yeah,
it's probably been like 20 years.
yeah.
Anyway, there's been talk recently that they could actually be brothers because Matthew McConaughey's mother Kay started it. She said, or Matthew McConaughey said, we're all sitting around in Greece one night because I feel like the whole world went there on vacation this year if they were a celebrity talking, and my mom out of nowhere in a little pause says, oh, I knew your dad, Woody. And then she's like, just say we may have frequented the same similar place out in West Texas one time when he was on furlough. And then everyone's like, what? Now we got to go get some DNA tests. Ancestry.com. Kay said she was separated from Matthew McConaughey's dad around the time that she knew Woody's father.
Oh, Woody's okay. First of all, Woody's father. For anybody who wants to do a deep dive into history, He was a murderer, okay? This guy went to jail. He is rumored to be, and you know me, I am always read up on the whole JFK thing. He's rumored to be one of the JFK assassins. Like, he's one of the guys that they found on the other side of the grassy knoll after JFK was, like, murdered.
What was his name?
Mr. Harrelson. I don't remember his first name, but it's something yeah, I just remember I've read that name because I've read probably about 20 books on the JFK assassination, and Woody Harrelson's dad is prominently figured into the storyline.
That was Ryan's hobby when he lived in Dallas on weekends. He would just walk around.
I did. I went down to Dealey Plaza.
He's trying to.
I'm not he's not joking. I went up to the 6th floor. I looked out the windows. I'd go to the grassy knoll.
He had string like going across. The bullets for me.
I wasn't that into it.
Look at that angle.
But I was always fascinated about it. I mean, think about it. It's like we had an American president murdered in our own, state of Texas. So I was always fascinated by it. And I know Woody Harrelson's father, he is a convicted murderer, and he's rumored to be one of the assassins of JFK.
Did he serve his time and get released, or is he still in prison? I don't know his story.
He died in prison.
He's dead.
Did he die in prison? Who did he kill?
I
forget the whole story.
Yeah, he was known as a hitman.
That is kind of area that when you go to Dallas and you do that drive and
because there's a big cross on the road right where the fatal headshot is.
Oh, really?
Your whole life you
it's
watch.
an X marks the spot, Sam.
Your whole life
there's
you
an
see
X
it on TV.
marks the spot.
And when you're
Isn't that
there,
crazy? And when you see it in real life, Sam, as somebody who's never been there, it is so beyond for us to think in this day and age how they protect a president that just back in the 60s, like, well, we're going to put this open convertible right here in this underpass.
Well, there is a big documentary coming out in the middle of October about this. Like there's only a few people remaining that are alive back then. It happened 61 years ago.
They sure are milking this thing. Every year they have to have some new angle. It's like Shark Week. You know how they have to change. They have to
If that's on
Sharks
Netflix,
with
though, I'd be
lasers.
okay
I don't mean
with
to go
that.
off on a tangent. I'm just saying Woody Harrelson's dad was a bad dude.
November 22nd,
not in a good way.
1963 is the anniversary of that. Coming up next, we want to hit some of the listener line calls that we got because you never know what's going to touch on somebody's emotions when we are just doing our thing here on the Roula and Ryan Show. Maybe right now you start off having a bad day and something silly just tickled you and you're like laughing and you put a smile on your face for some reason. Or maybe we made you mad. I don't know.
No, there's two things that Sam and Roula, you guys said in the last couple of days that made people very relatable to you because of what you said for different reasons.
Not mad.
But not mad.
Definitely
No, not mad at all. It's
reasons.
just things that you said, just
They're relatable to them.
yeah. It wasn't like major things.
I'm relatable, Kevin.
Okay, well, you make some people mad, but that's fine.
Like you.
Well, we're going to cover those calls and hear what it's all about next on the Roula and Ryan Show.
Back to the Roula and Ryan Show.
If you've never used the listener line, it's 713-278-VENT. We love hearing from you. Share whatever you want to share. Maybe you heard something that you liked, something you didn't like. We want to hear from you regardless.
I always say you guys should lock that into your contacts so you have it ready to go when you listen back to our show. Let's say it's on podcast or, people consume our show at different times, whether it's live right now or maybe part live right now. And then later you come back to finish out the show on the podcast page. And then maybe you want to comment on something.
Yeah, please do.
So that's what's really great
I noticed,
about
Roula,
it. What?
we get a lot of people will call during the show, like say we did a topic, and they'll call like a few minutes after that. I'll see the timestamp, and then I'll see a bunch in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like at
Because
5
they've
o'clock.
gone back and listened to the podcast.
Yeah, that's like our morning show in the afternoon. It's kind of cool.
That's why I say definitely lock that number into your contacts at 713-278-VENT. The other day I was talking about how I was having a terrible Tuesday on my Instagram at Radio Roula because live on the show, it's one thing. I got to just make a little side note. I know we've said it a lot, but every day we have new listeners. Every 20 seconds there's somebody new. I am broadcasting from the house. I am not in the room with the gang. And I know we all sound like we're together.
It's
but we're
been,
not.
almost 2 months now?
Yeah, I had surgery July the 19th, and I can't drive because it's my driving foot, and it's been a pretty
Oh, it has been 2 months then.
tough recovery. And, I got to thank you guys at the station for making it sound flawless because I know it's not easy to be here and you guys are there and we can see each other and we can hear each other, but it's just not the same. But we, do our best with what we've got.
Next
And
person up, we just got to help each other out.
Right. Exactly. So just like in the COVID days where a lot of parents of children had to be working in the house where their kids are trying to get school stuff done and the hustle and bustle of the daily life in my world does not stop. And I'm just never here usually for the crazy chaos of the morning. But since I'm broadcasting from the house, I am. And on Tuesday, it was one of those days where my kids just zero blanks given on what is happening in mommy's world because they needed me, and one was crying and one was yelling and the other one was like trying to find stuff, and everyone just came raining down at the same time. But we were live on the air at the moment, and I could not do both things. I just could not do both things. So I turned down my mic so I could tell my crying child, please stop crying, mommy's live on the radio right now, please stop crying. It's not like they caught me in the middle of a commercial break.
During the mod segment.
Yeah, Ahmad was doing this fun segment like Ahmad on the street, and I couldn't even be here for it. I couldn't be present for it because I was trying to put out these 3 fires in front of me. And so it just kind of all the wheels fell off. All the wheels fell off. And then we got this call on the listener line at 713-278-VENT.
I just want to say thank you to Roula for sharing recently the crying kids at the school and balancing being a working mom. And I think you're injured too. And I've been on the fence about going back to work. I'm about to be a mom of 3. And I thought, there's no way. I can't do it. And then for whatever reason, I think, well, Roula's doing it and she's fantastic. She's got to have help. I don't know. But then I hear, like, I'm on the other line. I have a crying kid, and you are at work, and you're making it happen. And I was just like, okay, the celebrities are people. And I just thank you. I appreciate you sharing the real side of a mom doing it all. And I'm going to check on Indeed today.
Oh. That's so sweet.
Indeed,
let us know what happens. Indeed.com.
Yeah.
That's where she went to look for a job.
What's Indeed?
Indeed.com.
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 Yeah,
that's like
apply for jobs.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
you apply for jobs
Learn
there.
something new.
Oh, good for her. I'm so glad she was inspired by that because it is nuts. I always say it's like spinning plates on fire. If you saw like in the old school like variety shows, the guy had the sticks and he'd spin the plates on them.
Yeah.
And it's like he had 10 of those spinning at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, I'm just spinning plates on fire over here. So anyway, that was really sweet to get that message. And let us know for the woman who called in. Let us know what happens. What kind of job did you
good
get?
luck.
And how's that working out for you?
And we went from that to then we went to yesterday. What were we talking about? Because we were talking about the Roman Empire thing.
How often
men
are men thinking of the Roman Empire, and then what is it for women?
Sam, what do you think of? What did you say, Sam?
Well, murders. Like,
Oh, you like the ID channel, all those investigative murder things?
just
Murders, like
just murders,
actual
like
murders.
actual
walking around.
dead people.
Oh, that's right. You said when you're walking for, you're on the trail or something.
Yeah, with Misty.
You're always looking to see if you can find a dead body.
I mean, it's not like I'm like out
Hoping.
there going through the woods hoping. I just am, looking around, and if I feel like if I see one, I wouldn't be surprised.
You're not
I think
Because
you've
in
been
my mind,
conditioned
it's
that
already
way.
there.
She might see a hand in the Brussels.
Yes. Like if
the
I see a
brush.
shoe, I'm wondering if there's a foot in there.
Oh my
And
God.
then this listener line came down
She
an hour
felt the
later.
same way.
This listener line call is for Sam. I thought I was the only one who thought about murder and crime all day. I asked my boyfriend last week how often he thought about the Roman Empire. And when y'all said that for girls, it was crime, I was like, that's me. And when Sam said when she's walking Misty, she sees, she looks for dead bodies. I asked my boyfriend the other day, we were driving, and I'm like, do you ever just look out the window and look for garbage bags in the ditch? Because I always think that I'm going to find a garbage bag in the ditch and it's going to have a dead body.
True.
Oh, my
I don't know what
goodness.
I would do if I saw it. I'd probably panic, but yeah, I do that too.
We did get a call.
Not alone.
Remember that text yesterday? The lady said someone her purse was found at the. She called the listener line to find that one.
Did she really?
Basically, she was at I forget where she was.
For those that missed that, it was a text
Yeah.
that said her purse got stolen. It was found next to a dead body.
Yeah,
Oh my God,
right?
that's so
I'll have to
scary.
find the
Yes,
listener
and then
line.
we were asking, like, what happened? Did they think that you...
Yeah, they broke into, like, she was at some club, broke into her car and
Swiped the
it was
purse.
gone. And the next thing you know, the cops found a dead body with the purse next to it.
So the same people that stole her
Either,
purse are probably involved in a murder.
but I think they were thinking maybe they threw the purse out the window and somehow it landed on a dead body.
No,
Something
there's
weird.
no way.
No.
There is no way.
I
You
would
can't
think
just, like,
that-
throw
I'll
a
have to find
stone
that
and
listener
hit a
line. You
dead
have to
body.
look for that one,
All
right?
right, I'll find out one.
But yeah, she
Well,
basically.
Sam, to your point, though, that's what a lot of ladies are thinking about, that you are going to throw
Absolutely.
something
If
and
I
you're going to
see
hit a dead body.
a trash bag on the side of I'm like, there's a dead body in there.
I know if I put one in my garbage can, I know what the garbage can. anytime that I put something in there it's not bagged, they get really mad and they dump my trash can upside down.
Oh,
just all the garbage juice will
They're
spill
gonna
out on
put
my
your body
driveway.
in there. That's why.
Yeah. KRBE's Roula and Ryan show to
Bag
tell
it,
you
Ryan.
what's going down in H-Town.
All right, it is brought to you by Duncan. I want to do this story because this is somebody that really inspired me in radio. Growing up as a kid, I listened to many different radio stations. One of them was 97 Rock. Really, the first morning radio show I ever listened to in my life was Moby in the Morning. Moby, James Carney, he was 69 years old, and it was Moby in the Morning, and he passed away yesterday at the age of 69. So he was nicknamed Moby after nearly drowning at the age of 12, and somebody had made a snarky comment saying he looked like Moby Dick, and it just stuck, and he called himself Moby.
Oh.
But, he was in the Hall of Fame with you, Roula.
Yes, last November, he and I were both inducted into the Texas Radio Hall of Fame. And when I went up to make my speech, I said that about him being a Houston kid. The fourth of 5 kids where the oldest sibling controlled the radio, even if it wasn't appropriate. I don't remember him doing anything inappropriate. I just
His only
that
inappropriate
phrase.
thing, he always start every morning, get your lazy asses out of bed, Houston.
I knew that was the phrase he used, but everything else went over my head because I was on the smaller end of the age range there in the car. But I do remember that. And when we met him years ago, Eric, remember at that radio convention, probably, I think it was one of the Atlanta conventions.
That's where he lived. He moved to Georgia and did country radio for 12 years.
He was doing country radio. I went up to the country panel because there was like a panel. He was on the panel, and I waited at the end so I could be like dumb fangirly and be like, hi, I'm Roula. I'm from Houston, and I was a kid. I'm sure, like, he loved hearing that, but it's the truth. I mean, he'd been on for so many years.
Oh, yeah.
And so I met him then, and then I met him when we got inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame. And I'm so happy that he got inducted. Like, while he was still
changed
healthy
Houston
and alive
radio.
and sharing his crazy
it's
stories.
not afterwards. You're right.
No, because
Right.
then you're
It
not
was
there
pretty
to
fantastic.
take it all in.
He's also in the Georgia Hall of Fame, too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I just remember as a kid, you remember there's a nightclub called 6400?
Yeah.
The building's still there.
Stereo Live.
Yeah, on Richmond.
Still there.
I met him. He was doing an appearance at a nightclub there, and I was like, here's young Ryan clubbing. Oh, my God, it's Moby. So it's like...
It was afternoons, you said, right?
Yeah, well, he did mornings, and then he came back to Houston and did afternoons at Rock 101
Funny because
KLOL.
when I lived in Dallas, people talked about him there too because he went to Houston and left to go to Dallas and then came back.
But he left rock radio because he wanted to be syndicated, and he said, look, I got a country voice. There's no way this is going to fly on rock stations up north. So that's how he got into country music.
Should I post this picture of us when we got inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame?
I think you can. You know how people are against, like, when you pivot.
I posted a picture of him yesterday.
But somebody
not with
like
me.
that, you're with him and how he meant something to you.
Yeah.
Right, and we both got inducted. And look at how happy and smiley he is and just awake and alive he is. You know what I mean?
That was less than a year
ago. He didn't even know
ago.
he was sick yet. He didn't even know he was sick yet.
Yeah, it was a
But
fast...
he passed away from cancer.
It was a fast illness. Okay, so other stories here. This is something if you ever travel with your pet. Sam, I know you travel. Do you take Misty with you?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a story on Cron.com about this. Travelers that take their pets are often seeing their pets go through security x-rays machines. And the article says x-rays don't necessarily do damage, but it is exposing the animal to unnecessary radiation. Just like in people, it can set the pet up for cancer and other disorders that the radiation exposure can cause. Remember, they're so much smaller than us. Dr. Lori Teller, a clinical assistant professor at Texas A&M, she went on to say, while the pet carrier will run through the x-ray machine at security, pets should be taken out of those carriers. Don't put your pets through the x-rays, is what they're saying.
Well, I would think that the pets don't travel as much as we do, so aren't we getting exposed more as humans than the pet is every now and again?
You got to figure that can't be good for you.
Yeah.
I have one question. Okay, so these scanning machines, they can see through anything. They can see through metal. Can they not see through shoes?
Guess not.
Why are we still taking off our shoes?
A lot of times you don't.
Are you not jumped on TSA pre-check
They do
yet,
that pre-check
of all people?
thing.
Well,
You wouldn't be complaining about this if you had that.
It was really funny when I saw Mo on Mo Day, Mo Ammer, back at his concert. He was talking about these. He's like, well, if I'm a terrorist, I think I'll just spend the $100 and get the pre-check. I mean, that's all he was saying. And he's right. It's kind of a crazy system we have. But that's what's going down in H-Town.
Coming up next, it's time for Roula and Ryan's Roses. If you feel that your mate is not being truthful to you, bring it to us. We'll figure it out. Is your mate stepping out or not?